It is indeed my privilege to have Mr. Bi Jingquan, Executive Vice Chairman of the Beijing-based high-level think tank, the China Center for International Economic Exchanges, under NDRC, the State Council's National Development and Reform Commission, to be here with us today. And today, our session will focus on China's post-COVID economic recovery. The session will be conducted in Chinese. Anyone in the audience who needs translation, please turn on the device on your seat. 毕理事长，非常开心今天早上。
Good morning, Mr. B. It's my great pleasure to have this opportunity to have a dialogue with you. Our conversation will be focused on China's economic recovery after the pandemic. This morning, we had the honor to listen to Vice President Han. He pointed out that the world is full of uncertainties and instabilities, and the theme of this forum is to embrace uncertainties, instabilities. In context of this global economic environment, China as the second largest economy in the world, the whole world looks at China as how its economic growth evolves. There is one kind of view that the economic recovery since the end of pandemic is not satisfactory or is not up to expectation. Do you think this is a kind of wrong judgment or wrong opinion? And where does the economic lies in? I think China's economy is still in the process of recovery. From January to September, GDP grew year-over-year 5.2%. It is expected that for the whole year, we can achieve 5% GDP growth rate. In terms of inflation rate and consumer consumption price, year-over-year, from January to September, the growth was 0.4%. But manufacturing purchase index is still negative. 25% within the range. And by the end of September, unemployment stands at 5.2%. That is urban unemployment. It is slightly lower than the number in June. So overall, I would say China's economy is still growing in a good direction. Indeed, we are faced with certain problems, and the confidence is recovering in the market. Domestically and internationally, we are faced with challenges on the economic front. For example, the real estate sector drags down, is a drawback for the economic recovery, and also the local government debt is also a quite big problem. But overall, I would say China's economy still has a huge potential for growth. At the end of September, the National People's Congress approved adjustment of the size of the sovereignty debt, and we also have a lot of demand that is not yet met. For example, the underground pipeline and network building, we still have a lot of demand and room for growth. Currently, in the cities in China, the pipelines are not dense enough. As a result, sometimes there is a heavy rain, the city, the downtown is flooded. Also, sewage pipelines in the cities in China is only 40% compared to that of water supply pipeline. As a result, in some cities, the sewage cannot be properly treated before they are discharged. So we still need a lot of investment in this regard, in this sector. If we are able to invest and build and improve the underground pipeline network in the cities, I think it also provides a driver for economic GDP growth and will meet unmet demand. And the second sector I want to mention is the pharmaceutical or the medical industry. At the moment, if you go to visit a hospital in China, for example, the hospital beds, you will find that the patients need to stay in four people share one room. And now the people's living standards have improved, and the patients are willing to have better pay for better hospital environment. That means the hospitals need to invest. in the infrastructure. And today, the patients, if they are hospitalized, they need to pay a daily rate of 250 RMB yuan to hire a helper, or not really nurse, but a helper. So there is still a lot of room for employment for medical staff, including nurse and many others. The third sector is immigrant workers. We have about 300 million immigrant workers who are working in the cities, and they are residential housing is not insured, and we need to provide accommodation for them. We need to build houses for them, also to bring their families to live with them in cities and provide schooling for their children. This is a huge demand. The fourth area of big demand is to cater to the aging society. China is a society that is quickly aging. If we can address the issue of providing basic medical care to the senior and to develop the aging, meet the aging needs, that is a huge demand that needs to be met. Finally, education. Every year, there's a lot of people that need to get education. Today, more than 80,000 school children go overseas for schooling. We can collaborate with international counterparts to provide education. Basically, my point is that we have a lot of market demand that is not yet met. Maybe we need to liberate our ideas and to find to tap the potential of economic growth in China. Thank you very much, Mr. Bi. You have given us 5 sectors with huge market demand and the potential to tap. And I can see that all these need a lot of investment. Now, talking about investment, aside from domestic and local government, which can invest, we also can benefit from foreign domestic investment. Now, because of various reasons, in the past few period of time, some investors have withdrawn. Some are more reluctant and looking around, see if they should come to invest. What advice do you have for them? Well, China is a manufacturing base for the whole world. Many multinational companies now are adjusting to their logistics chain, and they are optimizing their layout of resources. I think it is outcome we see, because China itself is a huge market. Our urban resident, the number of urban population is growing, and in the past few decades, we witnessed a quick industrialization, and the size of the middle class bloomed. So, and China also has rich labor resource, which are very highly qualified. Almost everyone has got 9 years of compulsory educations. Most of them have 12 years of education, and the Chinese people are very willing to work hard to improve their family's livelihood. So the third factor, I think, is because China has a complete, or one of the most complete supply chain, industrial value chain that covers many sectors and industries, and we also have very good supporting infrastructure. Fourthly, Chinese government has a learning attitude. We are always willing to learn from the best practice, from the advanced civilization in the world. We are always willing to change and advance our system. And we are working very hard to cultivate, to develop internationalized, rule-based, market-based, and business-friendly environment. So I would say that the investors need to be confident in China's economy. In the past few years, indeed, because of complicated reasons, some foreign investors and capital decided to move the funds outside. I think it's completely normal, because money always flows to places where they can make the best return and where it generates more return with the lowest minimum input. I think China has not lost its advantage as the international manufacturing center. China as a big market is still very attractive, and China is still the best place to invest in for foreign capital. And I also hope that in the past few years, maybe due to the pandemic, some of the friends ladies and gentlemen, have decided to move back to your home country. And I do hope that you can, now the pandemic is over, come back to have a look, and you will realize that China is one of the best places to invest in. Okay, that is very informative. My last question is, if we look into the future of China's economy, we know that China-U.S. relations is generally quite tense. Although there are signs of warming up, what is your view on the future of China's relationship with the U.S.? Are you optimistic? Are you cautiously optimistic, or are you pessimistic? Can we conclude this session with this last question? The two leaders of the countries are meeting in San Francisco very soon. I think this is a sign of warming up of the bilateral relations. The past few months, we have set up economic working group and the trade working group, and there has been frequent exchange of personnel and visits. And I think this is important for improving the bilateral relations. It is good, positive for the advancement of China-U.S. relations. Even in the past few years, in context of the tense geographical political landscape, China-U.S. trade has been doing well. The trade has been growing, and that, I think, suffice to say that the nature of China-U.S. relations is complementary and win-win and serving each other. So we need to do things that make our two peoples happy. The China-economic relations between the two countries serves as the main ballast of the and stabilizing factor. Thank you very much, Mr. Jing, for sharing your insights, and thank you for sharing the very sincere views on China-U.S. relationship. Let's have a round of applause to thank Mr. Jing.